All right, welcome back to the Solo Sesh-A-Thon, where we are now on day 4 of playing in this solo campaign set in the land of Portage, playing Shadowdark. Um, right now, in the last session, I had the party journey south. They're trying to make it back to this island down here, and they started ascending this mountain where there was a large lead disc floating above it. I don't know if it's actually this large or not, but I drew a tiny little sketch of it just floating over. So it is large enough to cast shadow on the land below it. And it's got this ominous vibe going on. Not a good place necessarily, and one that the lawful characters of the bunch were a bit wary to be near, but they had to travel through. So there were no actual real encounters throughout this day, but I used that time to develop the world a little bit more by rolling on some tables, and that's how the lead disc came into being. So at the top of this mountain, they looked out to the northwest. They saw a trail of smoke coming up, and there's a mushroom village off in the hex to the northwest. And Eliara, who is my elf wizard, saw this, and it's like a almost like a fey crossing or like a mystical. I guess fey is the best way to put it. I don't know that it's gonna be like the fey wild kind of situation, but like there is a like fairy land that like kind of lives adjacent, and so this happens sometimes where the where villages or people are pulled between the worlds, and in this case this entire village was possibly pulled through because these are like larger than life mushrooms with it looks like it's a town below. So she wanted to go that way. I think I can't remember who else was on her side in that, but it ended up being like tied 2 and 2. I think it was Ulfric and Eliara wanted to go check it out, and Yarki and Sir Tucker Rose said, "Hey, let's take Windry back because they're in the middle of um shuttling this hostage essentially down to the south." And so they ended up deciding like, hey, you guys can come back for this, and as an incentive, um, Sir Tucker Rose said that if we go south, I will personally um, provide a magic item for you guys. Um, so that's where we are now. We're at the foot of the mountain, and so like right off the bat, I want to see is how is Eliara doing with all of this. I'm gonna say like 1 to 5. She's actually pretty upset that they ended up not going to check it out. An 11 or a not 11 a 6 to 15 is going to be like she's fine with it. She's okay. She wishes they would have gone, and then 16 to 20 is going to be like she is completely cool. She thinks it was the right move as well. Okay, so she's in the middle, just kind of she's okay with the decision, kind of leaning towards this is the right decision. Yarki's right. He's pretty weak right now. We should go gather equipment, gather supplies, and then make our way back. I've been toying with the idea of, and I say toying, it literally popped into my head for like 20 seconds earlier today, but maybe this lead disc, this ominous structure, is actually kind of what is tearing the fabric and the reality that's pulling this other town into just the normal plane. Not sure if that's going to be the case, but I wanted to just throw it out there. Like when I see something, I start thinking like in the first session I ever played, there was like a procession, I guess, of like undead kind of making their way through this swamp, and my characters avoided it, but I was like, they're making their way somewhere, and there's like this tower in this hex over here. So it's just you start thinking thinking about the possibilities that could occur from the things that you're actually looking at. So, right off the bat, we're going to see if they journey into the correct hex down to the south. I'm going to say they either go one of these three if it's not this one. So Eliara will do an intelligence check. I think it's pretty easy because there's Grasslands before, so it's just a DC 9 here. Okay, so she's good. They decide that they're going to press into this grassland, which is actually risky. So they're starting to have to weigh some different things here. Like, are they going to stick to the grassland because the mountains are a slower, more arduous journey, or are they going to try to cut through the mountains, maybe down to the water here? But we'll see. And as they make their way into Hex 403, so we'll go ahead. It's early in the morning. They wake up. They have, let's see, I don't do this a lot. So do they eat the food that they have, or are they able to scrounge something up? I'm going to say on like a 15 to 20, they actually find something that they're going to cook and eat. Nope. It's another day of rations for them, so I will go ahead and mark those off. Again, I've mentioned this before. I'm not like a big survivalist in the way I play. I love the idea, but the reality of actually having to track supplies is rough, especially in a world like Shadowdark. So a lot of the times I hand wave some of these things. But in this case, they have been kind of shunted from their intended trajectory. So that means that we've got a little bit more running at stake here. So maybe now that they're down to one ration apiece, they're probably going to have to start looking to try to find something else to sustain them. So let's get into it. Risky means you roll once every 2 hours. At this point, I'm starting to have those things locked in my mind. I still check every now and then, but they just went through a risky terrain yesterday. So once every 2 hours. Now, they are in grassland, so they've been in some slower terrain, but now that they've made it to this grassland, they're going to be able to speed things up some. So I'm going to roll the first encounter. Check. There's nothing. And it's probably nice. Like, they're probably, I'm going to say that Ulfric specifically, Ulfric and Yarki, actually, you know what? Forget that. All of them are so relieved to be out of the swamp, out of the shadow of this eerie disc that's above, and they are soaking this in. They're still being careful in these grasslands. There's these rolling hills. I always loved the imagery of like Studio Ghibli movies when the wind is rushing through like high grass, like knee-high grass, and you just see it waving, and you just hear this wind rushing by. So I kind of imagine that, and as the sun's coming up and they are just being like actually warmed by the sun's glow for the first time in a while, they just start to take it a little easy. Not like they're still pushing forward, but they aren't like it's not as dreary and as drab as it's been. So they are just, their spirits are raising a little bit. So they start having some jovial conversation back and forth. And I'm gonna say that Sir Tucker Rose kind of goes ahead, and Ulfric kind of pops back, and he starts having a conversation with Windry, this person that they are transporting, and he just asks kind of like why she did it, like what is she actually getting out of this? She stole an artifact and was trying to do some like rituals with it. So as he asks her that question, we've got 85-46. I love it when they're on the same page, but in this case, it's so close. We got 46 right here. So 85 is escape, wealth. Okay. Yeah, so Windry reveals that she came from kind of a noble background, something that not necessarily, when I say noble, I don't mean royal, but like a well-to-do background where she had everything that she really needed. And maybe like it's not your typical like, yeah, I resent that. I just kind of wanted to go find myself thing. Maybe her family was actually done dirty by some people who were pretty lawful, people who promoted order, maybe even the order of the order of order, which Sir Tucker Rose is a part of. And maybe she just really wanted to hurt them and really get back at them for what they did. So she's telling Ulfric this stuff, and Ulfric, let's see, does he sympathize with her at all? Yes, he does. So Ulfric, he's not gonna like untie her or do anything crazy, but he understands where she's coming from, maybe because he had some past hurt from people who said they were doing something good, but actually just kind of were using those things to manipulate him or to have their own ambitions accomplished. So, I do think Sir Tucker Rose himself is just he's not a guy who would betray the trust of others or even like the welfare of others for his idea of order. He is an actual like good person who wants to see things done well. That's why he was so hurt when she did this, and maybe even some of the people in his order were kind of calling for her head, and he said, like, no, let's just bring her back. Let's put her on trial. Let's let her serve her sentence instead of just taking her life. So that conversation happens, and they're still making their way through the grasslands. And my first encounter, everybody, that everybody gets to see. So I'm interested to see what will happen here. So they're in the grasslands. We're most of the way through this hex, and I don't know which side they're going to be coming up on here in a little bit, but when I say side, sometimes I'm sure you guys have noticed this, but I say thoughts and I don't complete them. That's because I don't know what I'm talking about sometimes. In this case, I mean the sides of the hexes that are right here. So we'll kind of decide if they plan to go south or kind of deviate into the grasslands, which I'm saying that would be pretty clear for them to understand whether they're dipping into a mountainous hex or a grassland hex. So we'll actually kind of decide differently. We won't roll an intelligence check for that. But the important thing here, we're in the grasslands. Let's see. So I have noticed, which this is cool. I'm glad that there's variety here. We've got 1 is typically really bad, but 10 is actually usually really good. So they're not 10, 100 is really good. So let's see what we go for. 15. Well, going based off of what I just said, this will probably be pretty bad. 1d4 fierce griffins savagely tear apart a horse carcass. Okay. Let's see. First off, if they are near, far, or actually let's roll to see how many. This could affect some things. 3. Okay. There's 3 griffins tearing apart a horse carcass, and then where are they at? I'm gonna say that we'll roll with advantage to see if they're like, I would say they're far, but I'm not even gonna roll. It doesn't make sense. Like they wouldn't get close to this right away. So these griffins are tearing into a horse carcass. Here's the real question: does the horse have any any signs of like a human near him, or like a saddle or anything like that, or is it a wild horse? So I'll ask the question as a yes or no. Does this horse have any kind of signs of a rider? Yes. Okay. So I'm going to say they immediately start scanning the area to see if they can find maybe who this rider might be, and if they're okay. Let's see, like if they do they spot someone? Yes, but okay, good. Yes, but this person is actually pinned underneath the carcass of this horse, or I say carcass. We're going to say it's a recent carcass. So this thing just recently was attacked and fell over, and these griffins are like just tearing away. I have no idea what CR a griffin is, guys. So this could get dangerous. But we got 3 griffins. We've got 4 of our people and a potential ally pinned underneath, or someone else. Who knows? So I'm going to go here. A griffin is a CR4. So this will be pretty tough. There's 3 of them. It'll actually be kind of close to even overall. But so griffins are winged hunters with the head of an eagle, the body of a lion, and their favored food is horses. Okay, that I literally never read this stuff, but I flipped here and I was just like, you know what? I'll go ahead and read it. Their favored food is horses. Okay, does anybody know this in the party? Does anybody understand that? No. Okay, cool. So in my mind, my thought is if they did understand that, maybe they would try to free the guy and leave the horse. They don't know that, so they're just going to go in guns a-blazing. So they, we're going to say that they are like far right now. And with that in mind, as they begin to press forward, we're going to enter combat for the first time. I'm going to say I'm not going for a surprise round here, but the only person who can really do anything is probably going to be like Eliara, maybe, Yarky could do something, but we'll have them act first instead of rolling initiative like I usually would. Or we'll have them act first and then roll initiative. So we're going to go for Eliara whips out an acid arrow, and I say she whips it out. She magically conjures an acid arrow, and she conjures a corrosive bolt that hits one foe, dealing 1d6 damage a round. Okay, so as long as she's focusing, that's going to be what's happening. And so she's going to roll this attack. 13. She's super good. So if you don't know this, in Shadowdark, the way this works is you actually aren't rolling to hit if you're casting a spell. You're rolling to see if the spell works, and if it works, then it automatically hits. So this is a tier 2 spell, so it requires a DC 12 to pass, and she has a 4 to intelligence and a +1 to spellcasting checks. So she's good. And since they're far away, it works out. So she deals, I don't always do this. Sometimes my party that I've played with for a long time, we a lot of the times play Theater of the Mind. So it's kind of easy. Sorry, I know that just shook the mess out of the camera. Sometimes it's really easy for me to okay, wait, I'm actually really confused because I thought that they're right here. It's easy for me to kind of place where things are in my mind. So in this case, what we're going to do is these are the griffins right here. Here's the horse. The person is pinned underneath. They aren't necessarily going for this person, but they don't, the party doesn't know that. So 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We'll say the party's way back here. Okay, we're going to say Eliara, Yarky, Ulfric, and Sir Tucker Rose. Windry kind of gets dropped off right there. And so yeah, let's go ahead. Eliara deals 1d6 damage, 3 damage to this guy. Here we go. And I know, since I left that page, that was a bad idea. I know that how much HP a griffin has, and I've got to get back to it. So bear with me. How's your day? How's it going? That's good. I'm glad to hear that. Griffin. HP 19. So that's down to 16 HP. We'll just go ahead and have these guys at 19. And so Ulfric and Sir Tucker Rhodes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're going to have them spread just a little bit. They rush forward, and I want to see something about blind and deafen, what the actual what the distance is on that, because that's a spell that, okay, 1 2 3 4 5 6 1 2 3 4 5 6. Okay, so it's near. So Shadowdark also works with abstracted distances, so I'm not going to punish myself for him not being exactly 30 feet away. But blind and deafen, you utter a divine censure, blinding and deafening one creature you can see within range. The creature has disadvantage on tasks requiring the lost sense. So he's going to cast blind on this guy right here. So let's see if it hits. Nat 20. Oh, okay. Wow. So the way that spells work here, because I'm going to have to kind of remind myself of this. Success, failure. Now I got to find scrolls and wands. Mishaps, casting a spell. Here we go. A critical success. If you roll a natural 20 on your spellcasting check, you may double one of the spell's numerical effects. This remains in effect on a focus spell until your next focus check. So, let's see. I'm assuming this is focus. It is. So he's going to blind these two in the back. Since he crit, both of those birds or griffins are blinded. And they begin to freak out. So let's roll initiative. So I'll roll both of them. This is for the party. 4. I'm going to roll disadvantage with these guys since they just got caught off guard and since 2 of them are blind. 13, 3. Okay. So they get to go first again, and Sir Tucker Rose and Ulfric rush up, and they're going to start wailing on this one guy. Actually, yeah, they both will. Since they see the other two kind of freaking out, they start attacking that one. And actually, Eliar is going to roll focus really quick. She focused, so it's going to take another. Okay, I want it to stay on here. 4 damage, so that's 12 total that it has left. And then we're going to say Sir Tucker Rose is going to go next. So I've mentioned this before, but I use a knight stat block because he's a knight and I didn't actually make him a part of the real party. So Kay is here. So he actually gets two attacks since that's not a typical thing in Shadowdark unless you are a monster. So, I guess it's a monster. So he's going to make 2 attacks against this thing. He gets a plus. Oh, that's kind of a leaner. He gets a plus. I do have a rolling tray, by the way. It's just with the amount of space I have, I just do this. 9 plus 3, and they have an AC of 12, so that was perfect. So he's going to deal 1d8 of damage, and then he'll make his next attack. So that's 5. So that's 7 total HP left. He could theoretically do this on his own. And he whiffs on the second attack, which is going to lead to Ulfric attacking. 5. I don't think there's any way that he can hit with that. Here we go. Here's our actual characters here. He has +1 to melee and range. He has +2 to strength, so that's 3 so far, which is 8. And he gets a +1 on that sword. Yeah, no, he whiffs on that. So Yarki was going to go in and try to do something, but he's going to hang back because he can't. Eliar is going to move up to here. He can't really risk getting in there because he's almost died so many times. And actually, let's just roll to see if he keeps his focus, because if he keeps his focus, he'll run in really quick. He doesn't. Focus, the blind drops. Man, that was really short-lived. All right, cool. I thought that was going to be a really fun thing. So actually, since the blind drops, he can cast another spell. Let's see what he has. Cure wounds, protection from evil, turn undead, shield of faith, blind deafen. He's going to... Let's see what Shield of Faith actually does, because it's been a second for that one since I've cast it as well. 70. Actually, also, I'm pretty sure the deal with focus spells is you just can't cast another focus spell, so Eliara's gonna... I should write whether things are focus or not. Let me look at... Well, I'm already here, so we'll do Shield of Faith. It's on self. He'll cast it on himself, sure. Nat 1. Okay, it's gone. So, that's good. That's really good. Because now I get to explain to you what just happened. So, on a result of a 1, a priest, if the spell was a priest spell, your deity is greatly displeased and revokes its power. You can't cast that spell again until you complete ritualistic penance to your deity and successfully complete a rest. So he's going to have to complete some penance. We'll get to that later. He's maybe his deity, who's I think Madeira the Covenant. Maybe she's a little bit like upset that he didn't trust her enough and like really like lean into the focus. Maybe he dropped it more to cast, like he was a little bit nervous, like story wise, and started to cast Shield of Faith on himself, and then that happened. And she thought, well, why didn't you just trust in me? So let's see if Magic Missile is not okay. So she already kept her focus. So she's going to cast Magic Missile on this guy. 10. And she has advantage, so let's see if she crits. 17. Okay. Sweet. So she deals 1 damage. Oops. So he's down to 6 HP. But it is now these Griffins' turns, and they rear up. Actually, just right away, let's see how they react to this, because these guys are essentially they're worried for the person underneath more so than anything. So how do they react? I actually should roll 2d6 and go to the back here and just look at their reaction. So it's going to be their charisma modifier in this instance. So we're going to go with 2 of the same die because... Okay, if I can grab it. Okay. That's a 5. Oh, they're hostile, baby. Let's go. Yeah, they don't take too kindly to this. They aren't spooked at all. Okay, so this one's going to try to turn and attack Sir Tucker Rose right here. And let's go back to the Griffin stat block. They have 2 rend attacks. A D10. Oh no. Okay, we gotta hope they don't hit. Okay, so here's the deal. I just rolled an 18, but I have this pencil here. When there's an interference, even if it's a good thing for me, I typically like try to re-roll it. So I am re-rolling that. Don't hate me. 3. Okay, now you guys are gonna hate me because that's a miss. And then he makes his second rend attack on Sir Tucker Rose. There's the 17. Okay, so 1d10 of damage. 8 damage, jeez. And Sir Tucker Rose is not he's a knight. He's a CR3, but he only has 14 HP. So that thing just hurt him bad. What did I just say he had? I have short-term memory loss. Okay, 6. That's really rough. This is actually, we're in a bad spot now. Because Ulfric has 22 HP, but Sir Tucker Rose is the second strongest person health-wise on this squad. So this guy is going to go up since he's on that side, and he's going to try to attack Sir Tucker Rose. 9 misses, or a 13 misses, and then, okay. See, that was an 8. You may not have been able to see that, but he would have missed, but the interference. Oh no, I should have just taken it. Let's see if he stays up. He does, barely, just by the skin of his teeth. He has 2 HP left. He's looking rough as these things tear into him with their claws. This other one's gonna move forward and try to make an attack against Ulfric. 16, that hits Ulfric. Or 16 plus 3 or 4. And then, okay. Yeah, that's a 6. Okay, that one misses. So 1 attack against Ulfric. 9. Jeez, these guys are hitting hard. Okay, so that'll be 7, 13. He has 13 HP. Jeez. All right. So things are looking rough now. Who is the person underneath? I think they're passed out. I'm not even gonna worry about that right now. So, let's go ahead and roll initiative to see who goes next because it's a chaotic initiative. Is it our party or theirs? We'll roll us first. Okay, that is a 19. I need to avoid rolling in the crack, though, because I don't like that. 16. Okay, cool. Thank goodness it is our party's turn. Right off the bat, we're going to do the acid arrow, see if it sticks. It does. And then she's going... Let's see if... 6 damage, baby. 6 damage. 1. Okay, he's down to 5, though. Okay, she knows... A magic missile can't do anything here. She's going to magic missile this guy. That's a 3. So she misses. And the spell's gone. So that's how that works too. The spell's gone if you miss. Oh, she has advantage. Thank goodness. I can't be missing anything. Okay, 17. That hits, man. Yeah, I really can't mess around and lose too many turns on this because this is life or death. Sir Tucker Rose is still fighting. We're gonna have Yarky mans up. He runs in. He's going to make an attack with his mace. I believe he has a mace. I would keep that on this side. He's got a mace, which is a D6. He's got a +1 and a... Actually, that's just... I don't know that he would do that. Maybe he's going to cast Cure Wounds. No, no, he's gonna he feels the need to try to prove something here. So he runs up and he's gonna make a crack at this guy. Okay. 13 plus. Oh, it already hits because they have a 12 AC. Okay, D6. He has the chance to be heroic here. He has the chance. Nope. Let's go. Yarky. Let's go, Yarky. Okay, so this griffin is dead. That's actually huge. And then he kind of backs away. Over here, Sir Tucker Rose is going to make 2 swipes at this guy. 7 is going to miss. 17 will hit. And 8 damage. Let's go, dude. We needed that. We needed that real bad. Okay. So what we need here too is we need Ulfric to hit. So what we do is if they're at half health or as a group or their number is halved, that's when they start retreating. So maybe actually. Okay. So there's no opportunity attack. So what's going to happen here too is Ulfric sees Sir Tucker Rose calls out and says that he's badly wounded. So Ulfric is going to dive over this dead horse and he's going to try to attack this guy, or at least put himself in a position where it will attack him. 10. And he's got the pluses to do the damage. So he hits, and Ulfric has a +1 longsword, which is a D8. A D8 +1 here. So he's got to roll a 7 or higher. 3. That's only 4 damage. Okay. But he has put himself in a place that's kind of in between them. I'm going to say that Ulfric, so this guy is going to take 2 swipes on Ulfric. This could also get real bad. 18. Instant hit for 1 damage. Okay, let's go. That's so good here. Then that's what I do. And then a nat 20. No. Ulfric is going to get rended to death. So I'm going to roll it twice. Or I guess you double one thing. So I'm going to just roll 1. Nah, I don't like that. I'm going to roll 2. 6. 5. Oh my gosh. 1 HP. But I will say this. This one realizes that he's hurt. So he's really hurt that guy. He's going to take a bite out of this horse and he's actually going to he grabs onto the horse and he's going to try to like fly away with it, which is totally fine. And then this guy is we are going to do a wisdom save for him. When he realizes that there's 4 of these guys left, there's one other person that he didn't know about there. He's going to roll a wisdom save. Nat 1. Okay, cool. So he then begins to fly off and we're left here on the battlefield where a lot of stuff has just transpired. And I think that it actually makes sense for us to end the session right there. I was going to go for typically like 1 day at a time, but I think that this is a good spot to end. So we'll pick back up, or I'll at least pick back up here in day 5 of the Solo Sesh-A-Thon. Thanks for joining me. Peace.